as I snowed sugar onto my sugar pops. The sounds of early pop doo-wop whispered into my young and impressionable ears. Doo-wop, the most sensual music ever made. The sound of raw sex, of silk stockings rustling on backseat upholstery. The sound of the snaps of bras popping across the USA. Of wonderful lies being whispered into taboo perfumed ears. The sound of smeared lipstick, untucked shirts, running mascara, tears on your pillow, secrets whispered in the still of the night, the high school bleachers and the dark at the YMCA canteen. The soundtrack for your incredibly wonderful, limp your ass, blue-balled walk back home after the dance. Oh! It hurts so good. In the late 50s and early 60s, doo-wop dripped from radios in the gas stations, factories, streets, and pool halls, the temples of life and mystery in my little hometown. And I would always be enraptured by its basic chord progression. Are you supposed to be a guitar out here? Anybody got one? It was just that. Make you want to kiss somebody? And it became one soft fist of summer, me and Terry became friends. It's all comes from the same place. But anyway, then into my 13-year-old ears came 60s pop. Roy Orbison. Besides Johnny Cash, he was the other man in black. He was the true master of the romantic apocalypse you dreaded and knew was coming after the first night you whispered, "I love you" to your new girlfriend. You were going down. Roy was the coolest, uncool loser you'd ever seen. With his Coke bottle black glasses, his 3-octave range, he seemed to take joy sticking his knife deep into the hot belly of your teenage insecurities. Simply the titles, Crying, It's Over, Running Scared. That's right, the paranoia. Oh, the paranoia. He sang about the tragic unknowability of women. He was tortured by soft skin, Angora sweaters, beauty and death, just like you. But he also sang that he'd been risen to the heights of near unexpressible bliss by these same very things that tortured him. Oh, cruel irony. And for those few moments, he told you that the wreckage and the ruin and the heartbreak was all worth it. I got it, my young songwriters, wisdom said to me. Life is tragedy, broken by moments of unworldly bliss that make that tragedy bearable. I was half right. That wasn't life, that was pop music. All right? But at 24, who knew the difference? So I was on my way. Then, Spectre, the wall of sound. Phil's entire body of work could be described by the title of one of his lesser-known productions. He hit me, and it felt like a kiss. Phil's records felt like near chaos, violence covered in sugar and candy, sung by the girls who were sending Royo running straight for the antidepressants. If Roy was opera, Phil was symphonies, little 3-minute orgasms followed by oblivion. And Phil's greatest lesson was sound. Sound is its own language. I mean, the first thing you would think of Phil Spector is that was all you needed. And then the British invasion. My first real guitar, I actually began to learn how to play. And this was different. Shifted the lay of the land. 4 guys playing and singing, writing their own material. There was no longer going to be a music producer apart from the singer who didn't write, a writer who didn't sing. It changed the way things were done. The Beatles were cool, they were classical, formal, and created the idea of an independent unit where everything could come out of your garage. The Meet the Beatles album cover, those 4 headshots, I remember I seeing like J.J. Newberry's was the first thing I saw. When you ran down to the 5 and 10 cent store, there were no record stores. There weren't enough records, I don't think. There was like a little set, by the toys where they sold a few albums. I remember running in and seeing that album cover with those 4 headshots. It was like, the silent gods of Olympus. Your future just sort of staring you in the face. And I remember thinking, that's too cool. I'm never going to get there, man. Never. And then in some fanzine, I came across a picture of the Beatles in Hamburg. And they had on the leather jackets and the slick back pompadours and they had acne faces. I said, hey, wait a minute. Those are the guys I grew up with. They were Liverpool wharf rats. So minus their Nehru jackets and the haircuts. So these guys, they're kids. They're a lot cooler than me, but they're still kids. There must be a way to get there from here. And then for me, it was the Animals. For some, they were just another one of the really good beat groups that came out of the 60s. But to me, the Animals were a revelation. They were the first records with full-blown class consciousness that I'd ever heard. We got to get out of this place. It had that great bass riff, had that and that was just the clock marking time, In this dirty old part of the city, where the sun refused to shine, people tell me there ain't no sense in trying. My little girl, you're so young and pretty. One thing I know is true. You'll be dead before your time is due. This I know. See my daddy in bed and dying. See his hair turning gray. He's been working and slaving his life away. Yes, I know. It's been work every day. Just work every day. It's been work, 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 work. We gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do, we gotta get out of this place. Girl, there's a better life for me and you. Yes, I know it's true. That's every song I've ever written. Yeah. That's all of them. I'm not kidding either. That's Born to Run, Born in the USA. Everything I've done for the past 40 years, including all the new ones, you know. But that struck me so deep. It was the first time I felt I heard something come across the radio that mirrored my home life, my childhood. And the other thing that was great about the Animals was there were no good-looking members. There were none. They were considered to be one of the ugliest groups in all of rock and roll. And that was good. That was good for me because I considered myself hideous at the time. And so, okay, all right, you know. And they weren't nice, you know. They didn't curry favor. You know, they were like aggression personified. It's my life. I'll do what I want, you know. They were cruel. They were cruel, which was so freeing. It was so freeing. When you saw Eric Burden looked like a shrunken, like your shrunken daddy with a wig on. You know, he never had a kid's face. He always had a little man's face. You know, and he couldn't dance. He was like this. And they put him in a suit, but it was like putting a gorilla in the suit, you know. You could tell he fuck that shit, man. He didn't want it, you know. And then he had that voice that was like, I don't know, you know, howling wolf or something, coming out of some 17 or 18-year-old kid. I mean, I don't know how it happened, you know. But they were so, I found their cruelty so freeing, you know. There was that great verse in It's My Life. It's a hard world to get a break, and all the good things have been taken. They'll make certain things. Though dressed in these rags, I'll wear sable someday. Hear what I say. I'm going to ride the serpent. No time spent sweating rent. You know. And then that beautiful, it's my life. Show me I'm wrong. Hurt me sometime. Hurt me sometime. But someday I'll treat you real fine. I love that. Yes, 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 yes. You know. And then they had the name. The name was very different from the Beatles or Herman's Hermits or Freddie and the Dreamers. You know, the name was unforgiving and final and irrevocable. It was in your face. It was the most unapologetic group name until the Sex Pistols came along. You know, and Badlands, Prove It All Night. The darkness was filled with the Animals. You know, I took youngsters. Watch this one. All right, I took. I'm gonna tell you how it's done right now. I took Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. It's the same fucking riff, man. Listen up, youngsters. This is how successful theft is accomplished. All right? And, I mean, darkness was also informed by the punk explosion at the time. I went out and I got all the records, all the early punk records, and I brought Anarchy and UK and God Save the Queen, and the Sex Pistols were so frightening. You know, they were, you know, they literally, they shook the earth. You know, they were truly, which is different from shocking. You know, a lot of groups manage shocking, but frightening was something else. There were very, very few rock groups that managed frightening. You know, and that was a great quality. It was part of their great beauty. You know, they were brave and they challenged you and they made you brave. And a lot of that energy seeped its way into the subtext of Darkness. Darkness was written in 1977, and all of that music was out there. And if you had ear